Hello, welcome back once again. In today's video, I'll be dealing with ESL Activities Part 3. In my previous video, I had dealt with ESL Activities Part 1 and 2, where I had shared with you activities related to the 4 basic skills. In today's video, also, I'll be dealing with the 4 basic skills, but I have a different set of activities altogether. So let me take you to the roadmap of my presentation. So first, I have an activity for you related to the listening skills. Second, it is the speaking skills. Third, it is the reading skills. And fourth, I will share with you an activity related to the writing skills. So let me take you to the first activity. That is an activity related to listening skills. As you can see, I have written activities or a game. Now, the activity can be implemented as a game in your class. The only addition that can be made to the activity is you have to include the element of competition. When there is competition, obviously there is fun, there is entertainment, there is noise in your class. So depending upon whether you can actually control your class or actually allow your students to make the noise, you can include it as a game. So let us go to the first activity. I have named it as hide and seek, and this is taken from the popular game hide and seek, which is an outdoor game. But I have used this game, or I have modified this game to suit my purpose. Rather, I have made it as an educational game, and moreover, it is an indoor activity. So as a teacher, I need to, first of all, list down certain words that I'll be using in the activity. So this list of words could be something like this. Now I have to arrange for a bowl, and in the bowl, I have to put all these words to as chits, as where the students can pick up a chit and then he can perform the activity. So now I need to divide the class into groups of 5. So depending upon the strength of the class, you could have 5 groups, you could have 6 groups, and so on. Once the groups have been divided, now each group is supposed to select a word, from the bowl, and one of the group members has to speak, 5 sentences related to the word, but without using that word. And the other group members in the process, they have to listen to what the group member is speaking, and on the basis of that, identify the hidden word. So, and similarly, once the group members are able to identify, whoever does it first wins the game. If you want to include it as a game, if you don't want to include it as a game, you can proceed with the other groups. Even if you include it as a game, you can proceed with the other groups. So the next group comes and he selects a particular word, and then one of the member speaks, 5 sentences, and the other members, they have to listen attentively and they have to identify the hidden word. So it is a very good activity in the sense all the students are involved in the process of learning, and moreover, not only they are developing their speaking skills, they are also getting trained in the listening skills, and moreover, they are also getting trained in the ability to organize their ideas, their cognitive skill, and also connect the sentences together. So in order to increase the complexity of the game, the teacher can include a hidden phrase, or the teacher can include a hidden sentence. So this activity actually helps the learner to learn by doing, and this is what is required in the classroom today. So having understood this activity, let us now move on to the second activity, that is speaking skills. So here again, I have the titled it as Guess the Family. Now it is a board game that I'll be introducing it to you. Now this board game, as you know, you require dice. So you can divide the class into groups of 2 if it is a smaller size, or if the class is slightly bigger, you can have 4 groups, and accordingly the board game can be played. So each group, gets a chance to roll the dice, and whatever number is displayed on the dice, accordingly they can go ahead with the game. So it is similar to the snakes and ladders, in the sense you have the snakes and ladders, you have where where the ladder comes, you need to climb up, and when you're bitten by a snake, you need to climb down. But then this game is slightly different. So instead of using it as a snakes and ladders game, I have used it in a different way. So what you can do is, depending upon the number of students in the class, you can divide it accordingly, divide the groups, and you can allow the students to identify the category. So for example, you can include non-living or living things, non-living things, or you can also include the concept of homophones, homonyms, and homographs. And this is what the board game should look like. So you can use this, what I have designed, you can use this same method of designing your board game, and you can implement it in your class. Again, you are not only allowing the students, to come up with homophones, or refresh their memory about the homophones, or the teacher can identify whether the students have actually learned the concept of homophones. That way you are testing the knowledge of the students, you are testing the ability to understand the concept. All these things can be tested with this particular game. So now let us move on to the third activity, that is the reading skills. So in reading skills, I have included deck down. Now, deck down is taken from the popular game of cards. So as in a game of cards, you have groups, and each group, is distributed with four cards. So these four cards can be related to, for example, you can have, synonyms, antonyms game. So you have another set of card that is kept deck down. So each group has to pick up a card and try to match with the cards that have already been given. And so if they find the matching word, they can retain the card and throw the card that is not required for them. But then they are supposed to throw the card if it is not matching, and then the other group gets a chance to pick up a card. So in this way, it is similar to the game of cards, and it is very interesting because you are not only improving the vocabulary skills of the students, you are also allowing them to get involved in the process of learning. And that is the most important factor in these types of activities. And moreover, since you're dividing the students into groups, so even weaker students, they have a better understanding, or they can improve their vocabulary, and they have a better understanding of the language, and obviously they are able to come forward with their ideas. So the cognitive skills are also developed. So this is a very interesting game, and I'm sure you need to try it out with your students. And it is definitely very easy to implement. The only aspect that the teacher needs to do is design the cards accordingly, or arrange for the cards and write the words that their teacher has decided to include in the game, and also decide whether to play the game of synonyms or play the game of antonyms. So having said this, now let us move on to the writing skill game. So in the writing skill, I will include the game of justifying the picture. So the groups can be divided depending upon the strength of the class. So each group gets a picture with different scenes. So depending upon the size of the group, you can give 8 scenes or 10 scenes. So accordingly, each group has to think of a situation, look at the scenes carefully, think of a situation, and justify the scene. And they also have to write a dialogue at the end of it related to the particular theme that they have selected. Now, depending upon the level of your students, you can either ask them to write a dialogue, or you can ask them to write a paragraph. So this is an example of the scenes, but you could think of any other scenes that you find, could be challenging for the students. And this is again, you are developing their cognitive skills, you are developing their analytical skills, the critical thinking skills, you're also developing the writing skills, and moreover, you are developing their logical sequencing of ideas, and of course, the linking the words together, using the cohesive devices. All the skills are related to this particular activity. So I'm sure you must have enjoyed the activities that I've shared with you to implement with your students in the class. In case you have any difficulty implementing these activities, please get back to me. I will definitely help you out as to how you can use this activity in the class. So having said this, I would like to thank all of you for your patient listening.